Hey, what's going on everyone? Greg here, and Apple just launched the brand new Apple Watch Series 6 with new colors, an S6 chip, and a brand new blood oxygen sensor. And I have one of those right here in that brand new blue aluminum finish. But before we talk about this, let's go back in time and unbox the Apple Watch Series 6. Wait a minute, time travel? Does that mean I gotta bring back future Greg? You know what, we'll save him for later. So right now, let's go back and unbox the Apple Watch. So you can see outside of the box, it's pretty plain and understated, but as you open it up, you're greeted with a bunch of colorful Apple Watch artworks with all of these different Apple Watch styles and bands, and even artwork for the new blue model, which is the one I got. Of course, you can see the Apple Watch and the band come in two separate boxes. Open up the Apple Watch Series 6 and you'll notice that the packaging is reduced, and that's because new Apple Watches no longer come with a 5-watt power adapter in the box. Apple has decided to eliminate the power brick for environmental reasons, which I'm sure some of you will probably disagree with, and I do think it is a worse experience for the consumers. With that being said though, there is good news here, and that is that pretty much any USB power brick that you have laying around should be able to charge the Apple Watch, and Apple still includes the charging cable with the device. If you don't have an extra power brick, I will leave an affiliate link in the description below, and I'll even leave one that can charge your iPhone and your Apple Watch at the same time. Now let's turn our attention to the actual product, the blue Series 6 watch, which comes in a matching little, let's call it an Apple Watch sock. Taking it out of that sock and you can see the new dark blue finish. This is the first time that Apple is offering new colors besides silver, black, and gold on the aluminum Apple Watch models, with this blue finish and also a brand new product red finish. I think it looks quite nice, and more color options are always a welcome addition in my book. Just like the previous Apple Watches, the aluminum version does come with an Ion X glass display, while the more expensive stainless steel and titanium models come with a sapphire glass display. I have owned previous iterations of the glass and the sapphire display, and the sapphire versions that I owned never received a single scratch on them, while mostly all of my aluminum watches have received small scratches on the glass, small enough that you probably won't notice them unless you kind of go looking for them in the light, but it's something you should be made aware of if that's going to bother you. On the back, you can also see the new sensor arrangement for the new blood oxygen sensor, but we'll talk about that more later in the video. The Apple Watch Series 6 starts at $399 for a 40mm version. The one I'm using is the 44mm version, and that's gonna cost you $429. The starting storage for these, or I guess the only storage for these, is also 32 gigabytes. Okay, let me power this on, set this up, and then I will get back to you with my first initial impressions. Okay, so now we're back to the present where I started this video. So obviously I powered on the watch, I set it up, and I'm going to share my first impressions with you. So one of the things I noticed when setting this up was just how much faster the overall setup process was on the Series 6. If you've ever used an Apple Watch before, you know that when you're doing the initial setup and syncing your data between the iPhone and the watch, it can take quite a while to get that done. On the Series 6, it loaded all of my data much quicker than I was used to. I believe this has to do with the faster 5 GHz Wi-Fi that is a first for the Apple Watch, or the S6 chip is just that much faster in whatever the Apple Watch normally does to set up. Speaking of that S6 processor, it is snappy. The S6 is 20% faster than the Series 5, according to Apple. It's a hard claim to test on a watch where there's no Geekbench benchmarks or really any other performative tasks like video editing where we could test that claim out. But most of my interactions that I'm having on my watch are smooth, fast, responsive, and the apps load up even faster than they did on the previous Series 5. Another nice improvement that's easy to see is the 2.5 times brighter always-on display. Last year's version was the first Apple Watch to feature an always-on display, and was fine enough on most days to see the time without having to do any wrist-raising motions. This time, it's even brighter and should be an even bigger help during those bright, sunny summer months. The Apple Watch has always prioritized being a health device, and one of the big additions to the Series 6 this year is a brand new blood oxygen sensor. The blood oxygen sensor, according to Apple, represents the percentage of the hemoglobin in your red blood cells that is carrying oxygen. Most people have a blood oxygen level of 95 to 100%. Your blood oxygen level can vary throughout the day. Now, I've done a few readings testing this sensor already. You just open up the blood oxygen app and then hit start. The back of the Apple Watch will shine a red light through your skin to take the measurements. While taking this measurement, you're supposed to have your arm as flat as possible with the watch face up. The first time I tried taking the measurement, it failed because my arm was not steady enough, but after resting it on a table like the instructions said, I was able to get a few readings with my blood oxygen level always falling in the 95 to 100% range, which is considered healthy. Now, in theory, I guess it's great that you're able to take a blood oxygen level reading manually, but I think the real important feature here is that Apple says the watch will periodically take measurements of your blood oxygen level throughout the day, just like it does with your heart rate. And we already know how many lives have been saved for Apple Watch users who receive those high or low heart rate notifications. I believe and hope that this blood oxygen sensor will also surface similar stories in the coming months of users who are warned that their levels are low and that they should seek medical attention. However, that's just a hunch and a hope, so it's going to require more testing and a longer review before we know just how effective this health tool is. Other handy features are mostly baked into watchOS 7 and not really exclusive to the Series 6 itself. So there's basic changes like new watch faces like Artist, Stripes, Count Up, GMT, Typograph, and my personal favorite, the new Memoji watch face. I set mine to the fox emoji, and honestly, I kind of enjoy seeing the different expressions it makes when I raise my wrist, and when the Apple Watch is kind of like off your wrist, the fox falls asleep. I kind of find that adorable. There's also a new sleep tracking mode, which again is available on older Apple Watches running watchOS 7. However, I think this feature will be even better for owners of the Series 6 because it features 20% faster charging times, so it can now charge to a full battery life in 1.5 hours compared to the 2.5 hours it would take on the previous version of the watch. Overall, I still need to spend more time with the Series 6 before I can give you a full review. The biggest areas that I'm looking out for is things like battery life, especially with that new 2.5 times always on display. Also looking to see how performance is with the S6 chip over time, and just how helpful that blood oxygen sensor is after using it for a prolonged period of time. I also need to compare it directly against an additional watch that Apple launched alongside the Series 6 this year, the Apple Watch SE, which has a similar design but loses out on features like the always-on display, blood oxygen sensor, and the ECG reader, but comes in at a much more affordable $280 price tag. This could end up being the default Apple Watch choice for most users. Alright everyone, hopefully that video helped you out. If it did, be sure to leave me a like. If you want to see more from my channel, including a future review of the Apple Watch Series 6, well, make sure you're subscribed, and if you want to be notified when that video goes up, make sure you hit the notification bell. If you want to help the channel out in any way, like maybe purchasing an Apple Watch Series 6 or an Apple Watch SE for yourself, then consider using one of my affiliate links in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.